Hello everyone, and welcome to the 3D Paper Snowflake Guided Instructions video. My name is Diane and I'm a library assistant with Information Services at Belleville Public Library, and I'm here to guide you through making this beautiful snowflake. In your craft kit you will find instructions, and there will be 3 templates with this snowflake pattern printed on them. I've highlighted this particular template to help us as we work through making the snowflake. I just want to point out a few things here because I think it's going to help you as you're putting it together. So the template itself, what I've done is highlighted in the areas that are going to be cut out. You'll also obviously cut out the edges, and then eventually you're going to have a shape that looks like this. Now if you look at this particular piece, there's a center piece almost shaped like a diamond with a point on either end. It's one of the longer points. There are 2 side pieces and in the same shape, and then there's the end pieces, and they are basically half of one of the center pieces. The next thing I want to point out to you about the snowflake panels is each of them have dotted lines on them. There are 6 vertical dotted lines and 1 horizontal going all the way across. These are the lines we're going to be using to help us make the folds. The first thing we're going to do is cut the outline of the snowflake. Here I've got the edges and the first part of it finished, and I'm just going to work towards the other part of it. So I've completely cut out the edges of this panel, and I'm going to start to work on cutting out the center areas that are highlighted in blue. Now, I'm lucky because I have access to a craft knife, and I use it with a ruler to help me cut these edges. If you don't have a craft knife and you have to cut in areas where you can't fold the snowflake to make it easier, there is a trick that I use with scissors, and you can take them like that, separate them so they look like that, tape up this end with masking tape so you're not going to be cutting yourself with a sharp end, and then you can hold them like so and use them just like a craft knife with a ruler. And you might have to go over it a couple of times, but it will work for you using this method as well. So I'm going to proceed to cut through all of these. I don't need the craft knife in every case, because what I can do is I can go along the fold line that we know are the dotted lines, the vertical dotted lines. And then that's where some of the shapes are, and you just simply cut it like you're used to doing when you were in elementary school to make a snowflake. So that works for anything that's on the edge of a fold line. All right? But if it's not on the edge of a fold line, so it's within the panel itself, then you're going to need to use the other method for cutting. The other thing to keep in mind when you're doing your folds is try and be as accurate as possible, because it does matter later on. So pay attention to how it's matching up with itself as you do the fold. Make sure you try and get both straight lines together, and you can roll this a bit to make that happen, because it does make a difference as you're going to start to put the snowflake together. At this point, I've cut out all the diamond shapes that are along the fold lines, because those are the easy cutouts to do. The more challenging ones, again, are going to be the ones where you either need to use a craft knife or the end of scissors, like I had showed you earlier, or if you have a really good sharp knife in the kitchen that's small enough to use, and you want to use your ruler as a guide no matter which option you choose. And so now I'm going to get started cutting out the remainder of these triangle and diamond shapes. Well, that was fun, cutting everything out. You must have lots of confetti around you, just like I do. All right, so now we're going to work on the folds. For this particular part of the process, we only have to worry about doing the vertical folds. The way we fold it, I'm going to move this out of the way for a moment, because this one's already been done, is going to be the two smaller pieces are going to be folded to meet. Then that piece is going to fold over onto the centerpiece. This piece is going to fold over onto the centerpiece. And this piece is going to fold over. And this piece is going to fold over. And we're actually going to glue down the center here to glue all of this together. And then it will, it's hard to show this without it being glued, but it will become a 3D piece like this. So let's get started. This is an accordion fold. So up to this point in time, I've folded inward so that I was able to cut all the pieces, but it's obviously not going to look like that at the end. So we have to do the accordion fold now. So we're going to fold that piece like that. So this is the smaller piece beside the centerpiece, and I've flipped it over so your dotted lines will be facing down. You're going to fold it in like that, and you're going to take this end piece and fold it like that. And now you can push that like so, and it stands up. See, it goes either way. And now you're going to do the very same thing with this end. So you're going to fold this over, and you're going to fold this back, and then you're going to bring it back over, and you're going to fold it this way, and then bring the edge like this, so it stands up like that. And then when you push it together, there you have it. Then we'll be folding them in onto the centerpiece and folding it in again and folding it over again. And that's where we're going to glue our piece together. So the glue is going to go along here, and then we're going to press it down and hold it until it's all glued together. All right, so let's get started gluing the snowflake. So I'm going to put glue along here. And now we're going to move this over and glue it on like so. And I'm going to hold it in place until it glues together. And there you can see it's going to spring up because of the accordion fold. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my other two pieces. Okay, in our three pieces, we need to choose one piece that's going to be the center of the snowflake. So I have the one that I highlighted, and I'll make that the center. With the other two, we're going to fold them in half, like that. And that's just to prepare them for the next step. This is going to make sense as we go through these stages together. Now I'm going to do the same with this one, and I'm trying to match up so that it matches where each of the cuts were made. and it's symmetrical. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue one of these on one side of the center, the other one on the other side of the center. So let's get started. We're gonna run glue down the center and across the middle on the center piece. We're going to take one of these and we're going to line them up and glue them on. All right. Just firmly hold it in place. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side. And then I'm going to place it on top of here and line it up. So that it is in place. You can slide that around a bit until it looks like it's symmetrical to where your cutouts were. And just give that some time to dry. So next, we're going to shape it into a snowflake. So on one side, we're going to glue all the way down the center like that. And just on the one end, and I would do this as well. And we are going to bring these ends together. There, that's staying in place. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side. It's a little more awkward to glue, so I would lay it down like this. And you're going to glue down the one side in the center. Trying to hold it so you can see. And down the middle. There we go. And then, again, we're going to take these pieces and glue them together. Now, I'm just going to put a little extra glue just so it supports itself better. I'm going to tuck some glue in there. And do the same thing on this side. Just tuck it in the center there. There. And now you've made a beautiful 3D snowflake.